Don't hunt where it's pretty. Hunt where it's ugly. You'll be more successful. And every deer within 300 to 400 yards just realize that I come in the woods. You want to ruin your spot? Go down in those woods. Your layout. I hope this will give you some ideas about how you can position your blinds to be a more effective hunter. Okay, so let's check out our first location. So basically, let me give you a layout. So you can see this wood lot here, this bottom. A lot of deer lay around the edge of this big field. And right back in there is our food plot, and where we have some corn piled. And as you can hear, I'm very close to the road here. But that doesn't affect the deer. They're used to interstates and the cars. They don't pay any attention to that. So what I need to do is I use the terrain of the land to hide when I enter and exit. That's very crucial. You use tree lines or you use the terrain in order to get in and out of your tree stand. And you can see this path right here. This is a path that I have to enter into my stand. Now we're going to walk up that path. I'm going to show you how I enter it. I park out next to the road. I slip across this field right here behind me. And I actually mowed. I have a mowed strip so I don't make a lot of noise. I can slip in the mornings. Evenings I'm not so worried about. Evenings you can slide in. Deer are probably not going to be feeding unless it's a rainy day. But the mornings, they may be on your food plots. They're going to be bedded. Bucks will bed very close to food sources just because does are going to come there. And they just basically wait. I've seen this time after time after time. Deer bedding close on my cameras. They'll bed close to those food plots. They'll bed just in the edge of the woods, off of cornfields, soybean fields, any food source that they have. Oaks. If those are frequenting that area, there should probably, more than likely, this time of year, this is the 1st of November, you're going to have some bucks that are close. You don't want to bump those bucks. That may be your shooter buck. So you definitely don't want to bump that buck going in or coming out of your stand. In the mornings, you get in your stand very quietly. You'll probably have deer on the food source or around it or just after daylight. And you don't bump them, you don't spook them. They're not blowing. Get in your stand, get out of it. Same thing in the afternoon. You'll probably have deer still feeding on your food source in the afternoon. You can slide out and get out of without bumping them, more better. The longer you'll have those deer in your area. So let's move up this path right here and just see our approach and how I have it camouflaged. I know, you're gonna say, what about all those crunching leaves? Well, if you noticed, a lot of these trees have actually lost their leaves. And in my path, I will rake all these leaves back. A lot of times what I do, if leaves are falling heavy, it's just a tip, I'll bring a rake with me, leave it at the edge of the woods. When I come out in the middle of the day, I'll take that rake and I'll scratch those leaves back. I may have to do that 1 or 2 times during the season. I'm going to do it today since I'm here. I'll start hunting next week and I'll just rake these leaves back down to the bare dirt where I can slip right in here. So let's slip up in this stand and I'll show you where the food plot and the distance of the corn or the food source is. Okay, so you can see here's the food plot all the way down there at the edge of those woods right there. That has corn there. Some states won't allow that, but deer still are utilizing this food plot. And right there on that corner is a salt lick. And all of this field, I've seen bucks chasing those out here in this growed up field. I left all of this growed up so it makes the deer feel secure. And see, if deer are feeding down there, this roll and this hill blocks my entry and my exit. Now, one thing's very important. I close these windows right here. in the afternoons, because when I open that back door, you can see light traveling through this blind, and I want to try to remain as unobserved as I possibly can. Edge of the wood line, it is about 105 to 110 yards right to the edge. The edge of the green, it is about 85 yards to the edge of the green, so a good rifle shot. So look guys, here's my point about this whole thing. I'm gonna look over my shoulder. Right there's my blind. No deer has seen me come in here. Hunt where it's ugly. It's not a lot to look at from that stand up there. Just this corner, just this food plot. It's beautiful in these woods right here. Big, mature oak woods all along this creek bottom right here. Beautiful. Don't hunt where it's pretty. Hunt where it's ugly. You'll be more successful. But here's the premise. I could come down here, put me a ladder stand, or I could put my ground blind right on the side of this creek bottom bluff. Beautiful trails in there. Come in here in the morning, deer are gonna be laying just off the edge of these woods right here. Around this corn pile, around this food plot, utilizing this oak bottom here as a travel route and as a bedding area. So I'm gonna come in here early in the morning, walk down through these oak leaves, climb a tree. You hear the wind puffing around me. My wind gets circled all around in this bottom right here. And every deer within 300 to 400 yards just realize that I come in the woods. You want to ruin your spot? Go down in those woods. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm just dead serious. If you want to be more successful hunter, I sit up here where it's ugly and I look down on the edge of this wood line in this bottom here by placing corn in a certain place where deer feel secure. Remember, a mature buck has to feel secure. Unless he's chasing the doe, he has to feel secure to expose himself. And he's not going to expose himself long. He's going to come right out to the edge of the woods. He's going to look for does. He's going to smell for does. He actually don't have to. He can walk downwind in the woods and check out a field. But lots of times, late in the afternoon, early in the morning, he wants to come up there and look that field over to see if there's any does up there. And so instead of being in this creek bottom down there where it's absolutely beautiful, down there hunting where it looks good to me, because it makes me feel like I'm gonna see a buck, I'm gonna hunt up there where it's ugly, and I'm gonna let the buck come out to me. Hope that makes sense, guys. So we are at our second location, and you can see right down here on this point is where I have this blind set up. And we're just gonna approach it just like we would when we are actually hunting, and I'll let you see just how hidden it is from where the food plot is, and how we can get into this stand quietly. So come on. The deer, or where they potentially may be, whether that's on an acorn ridge, corner of a field, food plot, soybeans, it doesn't matter. Whatever food source where they may be gathered, feeding just before daylight or in the afternoon. And I'm going to flip the camera around and show you our approach on this blind here. And you can notice that I actually came in here and kind of mowed this a little shorter, so I have a little path up to the blind. Now the food plot is directly behind this blind right here, and of course I have some corn I'm feeding them, and it is about 85, 90 yards away down the hill. And the blind also acts as a block as I go in and out of this blind. Okay, so all the way down there at the edge of the woods is about 90 yards to where the deer are actually feeding in this food plot. So as you can see, I'm in this tree line. Now what I'll do, I'll show you the front side of this blind and what it actually looks like to the deer, to show you kind of what the deer see in my direction and how camouflaged this is. So as you can see how this line of pines hide the blind. It's actually tucked back in there, and you know, I've camouflaged it some. A lot of it's turned brown. Now this blind has been up about 30 days. I put it up a long time ago so the deer get used to it. But you can see how it blocks my approach coming in. And I'm just going to spin and look right over my left shoulder and see right there is the alleyway to the food plot that I'm hunting. And see, if there are deer out there in that food plot, I should be able to slip into that blind without them knowing, unless the wind is blowing in that direction. So again, that's why it is very important to be able to access, enter, and exit your blind without disturbing the deer. Deer are laying all in these woods, down in this bottom here, and I don't go in there because that's bedding area. They don't necessarily bed out in these fields, but I don't walk around in these fields. There could be deer out there laying. I slip in, slip out without disturbing the herd. By doing so, I can ensure that I'll have contact with deer much longer during the season and give me more an advantage of taking a nice buck. And that's what we all after, right? Guys, I hope you've seen something in the video that you learned. I hope you've seen something in the video that you enjoyed. I hope you've seen something that will help you be a more successful hunter, especially for those big mature bucks. You remember, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Don't forget, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and remember, subscribe to the channel. It's free, subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Please share this video with someone that you know who likes deer hunting. And you remember, it's a wild life, and I'll see you in the field.